Oh, I look horrible.
Hi, my name is Dahlia Burroughs, freelance editor and aspiring author, and today I'm here to do another vlog. This vlog is going to be more about my revision process because currently I'm revising the Dominion. I'm in developmental edits. So I've gotten up early, I've had breakfast, I've had my coffee, and now it's time to get started. So I wrote the Dominion for NaNoWriMo 2018, and if you've been following along with my newsletter, you'll have seen this posted in my newsletter and details about it and excerpts about it and all the rest of it. So basically the Dominion, subject to change that title, is an adult dystopian novel about a girl who is stripped from her position as a carer for stealing tea. And she's then pushed into the agricultural sector of the compound where she has to work in the dirt and the weather. But when her friend is excommunicated and her mother falls dangerously ill, she is forced to, or she has to make a choice to either join the rebellion and take down the Dominion, who want to use the people as cannon fodder and kill them all off because they don't particularly care about that compound, or let the compound and the Dominion do exactly what they wanted. If they don't get destroyed, everyone goes to war. So all up for NaNoWriMo, I wrote 54,229 words, and today I'm working on page 75. So far I've developmentally edited, 74 pages over the last couple of days, and it needs a lot of scenes added to it. This book was originally going to be a duology, and now I'm trying to change it into a standalone with possibly a second book, depending on how this one is received, and also a little secret book after that, which would actually go before this book. But if I release the Dominion and you read it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about and why I can't particularly say it here. So while developmentally editing, I have some outlining books there and some more on my Kindle. This is my Kindle. There we go. So I've got some more outlining books on that as well, and I cross-reference them all, and also cross-reference between my own outlining process. But I have the original Dominion outline, which is completely different to the story now. I have my main character's motivations and stakes and everything written down, and the rest of the characters, they will get put into a different document so that I can cross-reference between all the characters and see where they are during certain parts of the timeline. And then I have the best things in the entire world. These wonderful sticky notes. They are not incredibly sticky, but being that they're stuck in a book and they have pressure on the sticky parts, I'm hoping that it'll work just fine. Because as you can see, I have used a ton of them. The other ones are for important plot points. The pink is for the romantic subplot. Yeah, God, I'm writing romance. Imagine that. Not much of it, but it's in there. And also points about the rebels, which, you know, obviously they're the ones that are trying to take down the Dominion. And then up here in the orange, this is where I've laid out this time the Save the Cat Writes a Novel beats all through here. But in future, it will also have the hero's journey, and also, well, obviously the hero's journey because it's my favorite, the plot embryo, and my own outlining method, because those four are particularly the ones that I write in, including obviously the 3-act structure. So that was the original, and now I'm working on Save the Cat beats and seeing where all the things fit in together. And I want to prove something here. Sorry, that's a private sticky note. That I am planning YouTube content finally, so I'm not lying about it. I have written down the draft of all these videos, and that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos. The drafts are planned for, and I have ideas for many other drafts, of course, or many other videos. But as you can see, they mostly revolve around editing because, well, I'm an editor. And I believe that it's important information to share with writers who may not be aware of how editing should be run, especially when what to expect with your editor. Because I've seen a lot of people have dodgy services. They pay for a certain service and they don't get it, and they don't say anything about it. They just pay their editor and they go on their way and find someone else. And unfortunately that happens far too commonly. And so I just want to let everyone know that this video will be going up very soon, and I hope you guys watch it. Also, how great is this laptop stand? Look at it. It's wonderful. I could do anything on it. Obviously I've got my book on here now, but I can put my laptop on there, I can put a different book on there, I could put whatever I wanted on there. But this is fantastic. That way I can still lay in bed and read. So even though I'm a serial outliner and I outline a lot and outline my outlines, even though I do that, I still surprise myself a lot. I feel like you don't really know the characters and the story until you actually write it out, because then some things don't work. They seem great in the outline and it seems cohesive and it seems to make sense, and then suddenly you find that a dream that a character had represents the entire story, and it's written a lot throughout the book. That snuck its way in there. So while I'm still obviously in love with outlining, I will never change my process with outlining because I enjoy it thoroughly. I enjoy it more than the writing process. Shh, don't tell anyone. But it's just interesting to see, because now this is my, I don't know, maybe third or fourth entirely written novel, like first draft, but it's written all the way to the end. So I think the more you write, the more that you get to know writing. Like if you practice your craft, you get to learn kind of how it works and your own processes for it. Ew. So gosh, look, another location change. Woohoo! I'm at another friend's house now doing this this vlog, so bear with me. So if you've been following me for a little while now, you'll know that, or since April I guess, or the start of 2019, you'll know that I've started my own editing company under the name Newspeak Press, linked below. So I started this, finally took the leap in 2019 in January when I was contacted by one of my fantastic friends, Wendy. She contacted me and asked if I had done proofreading before because she wanted, well, a proofreader. And she knew that I was starting an editing company and all the rest of that. And of course I said yes. Well, you know, I've done quite a bit of proofreading. So I said I'd be more than happy to proofread your novel and also get to read at the same time. Of course, that's this book, this wonderful, gorgeous book right here. Get it, because it's amazing. So technically, Wendy was my first paying client because for 2 to 3 years, I had been doing free editing for people or at a very, very reduced rate during maybe the last year before I started my business. And this was because I wanted to get the experience that I needed and work with different genres and find out the genre that I wanted to work in, and also with my outline mentoring as well, because I do a lot of outlining stuff and videos with people to assist them with their outline and with their story and things like that. So Wendy kind of sparked that leap into finally creating the business and having it out there for everyone else to see. And so yeah, since then I haven't looked back. It was a big leap, but I'm really glad that I did it. And then in April of this year, while I was cold calling different Australian editing companies for more freelance work so that I could be self-sufficient on editing work and not have to rely on the government to get money or to get extra help with paying rent and things like that. So I contacted a company called The Expert Editor and didn't expect to get a response back. I just sent out my resume and my experience to a variety of different Australian editing companies, and the Expert Editor sent me an email back and they said, would you be happy to, sample edit some pieces so we can see, if you are capable of doing the job that we require. And of course I was like, oh well, yeah, that's fine. I do it every day and I'm not lying about it, so I'll be more than happy to sample edit stuff. So I sample edited a couple of pages of a book that was sent in to the Expert Editor, and it was a paid sample edit as well. And then from there I've gotten regular work from them and everything's going quite well. And they ended up hiring me as a contract editor, which was really fantastic. So now working under my own business and the Expert Editor, I make a fair amount of money to live on. And I say fair amount, I'm not saying that I make a lot currently, but I make enough to sustain myself. But so this past month, I have been cold calling to more editing companies to see if I can get more freelance work, just so that I can be completely self-sufficient and have savings in case something goes bad, like, I don't know, I get a flat tire or something like that. Something bad happens and I need money and I need savings, quite a bit of savings. And if I don't have savings, I freak out. So I contacted a couple of other businesses, and I'm not going to mention the businesses until I potentially get a job with them, because otherwise I feel like it's a conflict of interest. So I contacted them, and yesterday I spent about half an hour on the phone with the manager, owner of a certain Australian publishing editing business, and they said, we don't require freelance editors right now, but next month we are starting something that we may very well need you for. We need some more freelance editors for this sort of stuff, because they're branching into out of thesis editing and into like fiction, novel, and business editing and stuff like that, which I'm more, that's what I have experience in, not in thesis editing. I've only ever edited a sample edit for a student, ESL student, and it was tough work, and it would take me longer, but I would like to get into doing that one day. But anyway, back on track. So I spent half an hour on the phone to this guy yesterday, and it seems like there's a very real possibility that I could have complete full-time work, especially between Newspeak Press and the Expert Editor and this other company. If I get the job, I could have complete full-time work doing what I love to do and have savings and have enough to live and do the rest of it that, you know, people do. And it's very exciting because there was a moment there, I made the leap to get off of Centrelink, which is the dole in Australia, completely, because even though I was working, the government do not see self-employed or contract work as sustainable. So they expect you to still go out and get a real job or go out and study. And I was studying, but with my workload, I couldn't study as well. I would not get the marks that I wanted to, and I was paranoid that I may even fail some things because I didn't have the time to commit to the study when I was working. So therefore I had to get off Centrelink, which means that I didn't have that to fall back on, that regular fortnightly income to fall back on. Hence why I searched for more work as well, because luckily I have enough savings to last me for the next month. But after that, I don't have the extra savings, and I have clients in between that, but just in case they cancel or something like that. So it was very up in the air. So this is a big deal, potentially getting to work with this company. And if I do get to work with this company, well, I'll announce who it is, of course, and of course tell you to, you know, head on over to that company. It's pretty good. But yeah, so I just wanted to be upfront and honest about the transition and how this year has gone in terms of work and editing and progression and blah blah blah, preparing for the future. Because I believe that honesty is a very big thing on social media, and if you want to put yourself out there, you need to be honest and open with exactly what's going on, and, well, transparency as well. There was a big thing about that going around AuthorTube for obvious reasons, but yeah, so I think it's important to be honest with the people that you might be working with, especially as an editor, to present your credentials, to present who you work for, present your experience, because otherwise authors hire editors who do not have the merit to be editors. They're paying them the industry standard editing cost, or whatever the case may be, for whatever edit that they are receiving, whatever service that they are receiving, and they're not getting the industry standard service completed in their manuscript. And I've seen that happen way too many times, and I've had clients come to me with this issue, and it's not okay. So transparency on YouTube, transparency on social media, transparency about who you are is incredibly important. That was really the rant that I wanted to get to, but I didn't expect it to happen in this video. But anyway, now you know my thoughts, and you will know my further thoughts on this topic as I bring out my my editing series on AuthorTube. There are a lot of important details that a lot of authors need to know, and hopefully I can help just one person out there to choose a reliable editor over someone who is going to not give them what they paid for. Just look at this formatting. What on earth happened here? The rest of the novel is fine, but for a few pages I did very strange formatting. Look, that's the same. It's just these 2 pages are odd. What is happening? So the one thing that I love about writing is going back over and seeing what brilliance you have come up with, not that I read all of your first drafts, what brilliance I've come up with. That sounds really full of myself. I'll start again. The thing that I love most about writing is going back over and seeing these little moments of brilliance that have just popped up in the novel as you're writing, especially when you're under pressure in NaNoWriMo, when you see these little things that you're just like, oh my goodness, it worked perfectly. It is so exciting, and it makes my heart pound. I get so thrilled and excited to write again. And even though I think that this book is pretty terrible in the draft that it's in right now, first draft mind you, 30 days, 55,000 words, wow, it's not that terrible bare bones wise. and I'm so excited about it. So I don't think I've mentioned this before, but the Dominion is actually a Christian dystopian. So it's different than what I have been writing prior, but I want to explain that before I read out this part, to you. It made me so excited. It's this inspiring thing to get people motivated to actually join the rebellion, even though they're so convinced that the Dominion is correct. I'll explain it. As if they had read her mind, a darker woman huffed. What good can this material do? It's propaganda material. The Dominion clearly aren't afraid of this content. What are the rebels planning? Manon bit her lip, glancing at Cleantha. It would be a risk to say anything further, but it was a risk worth taking. She put her hands on her hips. We can find the rebel hideout and join them. The crowd hushed, looking from their left to their right. The woman frowned. They have no other plan? Whatever their plan, the more forces they have, the smoother this will go. Are you waiting to be saved? She looked away. What about you? She pointed to a chubby man, clearly a thief of produce. Or you? A tall woman with wrinkled, deeply freckled skin. Did Moses wait to be saved? Or did he trust God's word and push the waters aside? What? Oh my gosh. Every time I read that, I get goosebumps. It's so inspiring. It's like, yes, you go ahead and save the people. Don't wait to be saved. Push ahead. It's so inspiring, and I love that my own really terrible writing can create that sort of feeling in me. So another thing that just impacted me, which really, it's important, it's pivotal to the way the characters feel in the story, but this is not like a reveal of anything, I hope. Anyway, I'm going to read it anyway, and if it is a reveal, you get a reveal. So Cleantha, the main character, has just told everyone, basically, you follow the fence at night because the compound is surrounded in a fence. You follow the fence at night and you find a hole, and then keep walking until you get out of the hole, and then keep walking until you find someone, and then they will lead you to the hideout. And then this is their response. Some nervously looked around as if waiting for God to strike them down, or worse, for the Dominion to hear them and flay them. So because of the control in the story, the Dominion terrify the people more than God does. And that's exactly what the Dominion wanted. So it's pivotal in the story, and I think it's just fantastic that Act 2 is really where I start to figure everything out, and the theme, and really what the story is about. Because I can write at first that, okay, Cleantha wants to do this, and everyone's going to do that, and blah, 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 blah. But I don't actually get to the true meaning until halfway through Act 2. I don't think there's anything better than spending the day developmentally editing your own book. I may be biased right now, but it has been tremendous fun. Now that I'm halfway through, or over halfway through Act 2, things are really starting to pick up. Things are coming out and the story is developing, and there's so much stuff from here beyond that I have to add and foreshadow into the start of the book. And so that's going to take a bit of work, but this is so much fun. Hello? Rude. Isn't it funny how it can take you 31 days to write 55,000 words, but you can developmentally analyze, not edit, analyze, your manuscript in a matter of a week? How bizarre is that? So I think what I'm going to do is once I've analysed this story, I'm going to, and obviously I'm filming myself analysing a little bit of it and relaying the information to you. I think I'm also going to show you how I rewrite, like do the developmental edits on my books, and show you a bit about my processes when editing, self-editing my my manuscripts, my novels. Because it's only 55,000 words right now, not even actually, it's just under. I have to boost it up a fair bit, but I have a tremendous amount of scenes that I have to add to it before things make sense. Because I wrote something, someone mentioned a plot point in my novel, prior to me actually ever writing that point in. I believe that I thought I had written it in, and that's why everyone's talking about it now, but it's not in there. It's not in the entire book. So, it's kind of frustrating. I've now gotten to day 21, how many words I wrote, there you go, around 2,300 words, and in my manuscript. So, and it's really quite strange actually, this transition, because I feel like halfway through Act 2, like I said before, the story really came together, so now it feels like this is the actual story, and what came beforehand was just like dribble. Honestly, just dribble, like me writing words to figure out what the hell the story was about. And then about halfway through the novel, I find out what it's about. This is why I don't particularly write romance. In the space of 112 A4 pages, I have 3 notes about the romance subplot. 3. I forget that there is a romantic subplot, but I do have like one scene where it becomes obvious. I should just stop trying to write romance. People always die when I do it. After some very beautiful homemade kimchi by a lovely Filipino woman that I know, I think it's about time that I go to bed. You can't see her right now, but my dog has also decided to go to bed. And she's laying on the blanket. Hang on. There we go.